Welcome to the Dare to Be podcast. I'm your host, Austeen, and I created this space so we can learn to bring more depth to our relationship with life. I want to see each and every person walk through this world in their own unique way, and that requires courage. And this podcast is meant to be a platform for life thoughts, stories, life tactics, philosophy, growth, change, and evolution to support that courage and bravery. So if you want to create foundation and inner sanctuary in your life and dare to live in a way that is aligned with you, then welcome. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Dare to Be podcast. I'm your host, Austeen. This is episode 4 of season 1. I cannot believe it's already been 2 months since this podcast has come out. And let me tell you, it's not getting the angst about recording my voice and being in flow state in a kind of a live fashion, right? Because I don't go back through and edit parts of the whole conversation and talk. It's still there. It's still new. You know, when things are novel, as I said in the first podcast, it takes time to gain experience and to learn how to do it well. So it's all good, but I just wanted to share that, I'm here. You're hearing my voice. I have things to say, and hopefully it's impactful and helpful. And I also am still nervous about it. So for those of you who are out there chasing your dreams, maybe you're getting on social media, maybe you're cold calling people, maybe you're doing sales pitches, maybe you're trying to do something really different with your life, and you're putting a lot of things out there, and it feels like a lot. It is a lot because it's new to you. And I just want to say, I was feeling called, someone needs to hear this, to keep doing it. Keep posting, keep selling your thing. If you really believe in what you are selling and what you have to offer, keep doing it. Okay. My teacher tells me a lot to do what she calls garbage posting, which is, it's not really garbage that you're sharing, but to you, it might feel like it because it's not perfect. And so she gives you you get 3 tries to make the sales pitch, to write the email, to write the paper, to make content for social media. And then you have to put it out there. You cannot keep going over it with a fine-tooth comb. So just keep doing it. Keep putting yourself out there into the world, into the void of social media, into the community that's around you locally or globally. Just keep putting your face out there because it's important. What you're doing is important and you believe in it. So it's worth that time. And even though you might not be getting a lot of kickback all the time, as far as call to actions or engagement or receptiveness, people are seeing you. Okay. People are seeing you. And the more they see you, the more they get to know you, the more trust that you build with them, the likelihood that they're going to come back and remember you and invest in what you're offering. So someone needed to hear that. I don't know who, but I'm allowing this to flow today. So keep doing it. Okay. Keep chasing your dreams. They're important and it matters. Your uniqueness, what you've cultivated as your offering or what you're trying to do in the world as far as building your dream life, it's important because if it's for you, it's for them, right? Just like the last podcast episode. Okay, a little tangent there. Welcome to the Dare to Be podcast. This is a space where I share thoughts, stories, life philosophy, and today I want to share about the relationship between your body and yourself. And I'm going to share my relationship between my body and myself. It can be a touchy subject because, not everyone shares my belief about it, but that's okay. That's not the point. You don't want to make everyone believe what you believe, right? You want to offer different perspectives and ideas, and then maybe they take pieces of it and make it work for them. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. That's what this podcast episode is going to be about. And it feels big because especially for women and same for men, each gender has different expectations and heaviness and burdens upon what their body should be like. And so this can be for male, female, any sex, any gender that you align with, like the relationship between you and your meat suit, which is the thing that houses all your blood vessels and your bones and your organs. Sometimes I refer to it as the meat suit, but in a loving way, right? In a loving way. It's important to be in relationship with it constantly. And before we get into that, I would like to share a poem with you. So this poem is by Mary Oliver. It's one of her most famous poems. It's The Wild Geese. And it really speaks to me, especially in relationship to my body. So Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese high in the clean blue air are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. I think poetry is really important. For me, it's really important. I tend to begin all of my practices with poetry, and I end my days and begin my mornings with poetry. It just allows me to think about things differently. And it's an art, right? So it really gets me in touch with the creative side of me. And it's feeling, right? It's feeling. It helps us tap into our feeling bodies, which we can become so numb because life can be so hard. So, and I think it's important, even amidst how hard life can be, it's important to stay feeling about it and be in touch with your feelings. So that's what poetry does for me. It does a lot of things, but that's mainly why I listen to it and why I read it. And what I think is important here, when you begin to talk about the relationship between you and your body, is that you don't need to punish it. It's not something you need to whip into shape. Okay? You have this one body. And that's it. And it's really incredible thing. I think they say you have a new body every 7 years or so, right? It creates new cells, your organs change. They become new organs because they slowly replace themselves over time. The same with your skin. Like you pretty much have a new body every 7 years or so. And it doesn't need to be, you don't need to be strict with it. And you don't need to govern it and reign over it. For me, what has been life-changing is me and my body are in relationship and we are a team. We work together to get through this life. And when I first started this whole journey, I was in the mindset that I needed to my body needed to fit, of course, in a certain kind of shape because of society expectations and norms. And I needed to be in charge of it and make it really strict. And it wasn't allowed to have a voice. I needed to ignore the asks of it, the invitations, the cravings. Like I needed to ignore all that. And my brain needed to reign over all of it. And my body just needed to conform. And it needed to suffer because it couldn't be trusted. It wanted things I wasn't supposed to have, and it wanted to do things that I wasn't supposed to do. And so that's how I knew my body and my relationship to it. And then around COVID, I gained a lot of weight. And for the first time, I focused on not losing weight. For like the first time in my life. I mean, since you're a little girl, you're just always trying to lose weight. And even I was running cross country and I weighed 130 pounds and I felt like I couldn't wear these tight clothes. And I look back on those pictures, and I'm sure if you look back on all of your pictures, you're like, what was I thinking? I was absolutely like healthy and beautiful. And the same thing for right now. If you were to look back at yourself right now in 20 years, you probably would say the same thing, right? It's a complicated thing. But when I gained a bunch of weight, I decided that I wasn't going to try to lose it. I was going to focus on loving myself right where I was. I knew there was something in me that knew that I could lose the weight and I would still be very fucking unhappy with myself, because the core of my intention, the reason why I wanted to lose weight, was external. It was for others. It wasn't because I thought I wanted to be healthier, or that I was doing it alongside my body. Like it was me being, you need to be different, body, and I'm going to force you into that. And so for the first time, I decided I'm going to focus on loving my body as it is. I'm going to do mirror work. I'm going to look at myself naked in the mirror, and I'm going to give myself 10 compliments every morning. And most mornings I only could do 5. For a long time, I could only do 5. Eventually, and now I can do like 50, 100. I'm like, yes, that and that. I love that big toe. That's great. Wow. Like, look at that clavicle. Like, and of course, the other parts of my body, you know, I really enjoy all the parts of my body now, but it took time to get there. And that started with mirror work. And so here I was doing this work, not trying to lose weight, just trying to be in relationship with it, not hate it. Like that was the first step, like just not hate my body. And then from there, I started to invite it to come along on the journey. Once I began to not hate it as much, I then was like, okay, body, like let's do this together. Let's do this love thing. Let's do this eating well and moving together, still not with the intention of losing weight. Like we're not trying to lose weight. I made that very clear when I was speaking to my body. But I did say, but I want to take care of you. And I don't know what that looks like on the outside or how much weight that is or it is not, but how can I take care of you? Like what kind of movement do you need? What kind of food do you need? How much water? What kind of mental things? And so there's so many lanes of health, right? Mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, all of that. And those could be podcasts in themselves, like my relationship with my brain, my relationship with my heart, my relationship with spirituality, like all of that could be separate. So know that I'm just talking about me and my body right now. And there are other things that I was doing to tend to those other parts of me. But this focus during this time was to make my body my partner and my team as part of the whole team that makes up me. And so what ended up happening when I started to just invite the body along and not think about it as something I had to govern and whip into shape, I began to lose weight. And I panicked for a moment. I was like, wait, body, like that's not the goal here. We're not trying to do that. But what it said to me was, we understand that the weight that you're at right now isn't where my body wants to be. And so I had to let go of this judgment because I kind of went to two extremes, right? Lose weight all the time, don't lose weight at all. but I needed to go to that other extreme of not losing weight at all because I needed to develop love for my body that wasn't based on my weight. And so after I went through that part and I started to lose weight, I had that moment of panicking, like, that's not what I'm trying to do here. My body, it felt very clear that it was, yes, it knows that, but the things you're doing are putting your body, putting me into a better state of health, which this is the way that my body thrives the most in, is as I was losing weight, it was moving towards that weight. And so for a long time, I did not weigh myself. So after I started to lose weight, and my body made that very clear that I was moving towards this state of health that my body wanted to be at, the weight didn't matter. So I stopped weighing myself for a long time. And then I began to get really curious about my nutrition and what exercise does and movement. So then I started to really dive into education and knowledge around nutrition and around movement, all to support this idea of my body wants to be healthy. I want to be a partner in that, and it has a say in how it gets there. Like, it matters how it gets there. And going on that journey had me arrive at the current weight I'm at, which I don't know what that is at the moment. I weighed myself a few times prior, like every few months, because I was curious and I knew I could step on the scale without it affecting my worth and my love for my body. And so it's just been an interesting journey. And what I want to share, what I want to leave you with and invite you to do is begin to have a relationship with your body during the entirety of your day and invite it to be a partner in your life. And also begin to trust your own innate wisdom and your own inner signals. So I was really out of touch with my inner signals, and I didn't think I could trust my body's innate wisdom because it wanted these things that I wasn't supposed to have. Like, it wanted ice cream every night. And which in society is like, you can't do that. You're going to lose, or you're going to gain a bunch of weight, and then you're not going to be worthy, and then no one's going to love you, and your self-worth goes down. There's a whole bunch of context and society pressures that come with thoughts like that. So I didn't think I could trust it. But those signals of like wanting ice cream or wanting to eat pizza or to overeat actually wasn't my body's invitations at all. It was my mental or my heart's invitations. And so until I started to differentiate between what the voice of my body sounded like, the voice of my mental and the voice of my heart and the voice of my spirit, like, I had to get to know those in different capacities, because once I realized, oh, that's not what my body was asking for actually, then I felt like I could then begin to really trust it. Like, my body knows what it needs and what it wants. I just have to give it space and time and room to be heard. And those other invitations I'm getting, I just have to listen very closely to find out where they are coming from. And if there is a dissonance, I can't think of the word right now. A discrepancy. That's the word. If there's a discrepancy between what my body usually wants or what I know is not to be healthy, because I've had a lot of experience listening to my body, then I really have to discover, okay, where is this ask? Where is this want coming from? Is it coming from the invaders in my body who want sugar and glucose to feed themselves? Is it because I need just some serotonin in my brain because I am down and low? Like, where is it coming from? And so what I began to do with those kind of questions, where I was like, body, I'm not sure if that's like is that exactly what you're looking for? And then I realized, oh, it's not even my body asking for it. It's this other part of me asking for it. And then I would make a decision on, okay, does it really need to be fulfilled? Can it be fulfilled in another way that would support my body and the other aspects of me as well? So this is obviously very complicated and could be probably an entire class, but I wanted to introduce it to you. Mostly just wanted to introduce this concept to you, that your body and the other parts of you, but your body in this podcast deserves to be heard. And it requires time. Here we go again. It requires time that you set aside, or moments, to listen in and to allow it to be heard. That means there needs to be space between your thoughts and your actions. The more space you have between them, the clearer you'll get about what exactly you need to do. So to practice creating space between your thoughts and your actions, for me, it's meditation. And it's just this idea of a pause. Okay, I'm going to pause before I do that. I'm going to get clear and find out exactly where this is coming from. Like, where is the core of it? And all of that to say, you have innate wisdom in your body. It is very wise and you can trust it. But you have to begin to give it time and space to be heard. Because a lot of times what I was hearing was not the actual voice of my body. It was all those other parts of me, the serotonin or the sugar dragon, I call it, all those invaders that want the glucose and the sugar in me. Or it was my mental and emotional piece of me that wanted something good and yummy and comforting. But that's different than the voice of my body. And not saying that those don't need to be fulfilled in those ways, but it just gave me clarity on, oh, here's the voice of my body, and that's not actually what it was asking for. And it just created this trust. And my body and I now have a trust. So not only did I need to trust my innate wisdom, but then my innate wisdom and my body needed to begin to reciprocate that trust. It needed to be able to trust me with the things it was telling me. Like sometimes my body's like, you need to do this. Like you need to go for this walk. And I will be like, that is not what I feel like doing. But I have to take that pause and see, okay, where is that feeling of resistance coming from? And I need to practice trusting that body. Like once I know it's my body's voice, I begin to trust it. And then so it's both of us. It's this push and pull, this yin and yang kind of feeling where I'm trusting it and it is also trusting me with the information it's relaying, because it's in time it'll be able to rely on you to do the thing it's asking, to do the right thing for your body's health. And so the question is, and not only the question, but the whole intent of daring to be is having trust in yourself and being able to rely on yourself. And this is one very specific aspect of my life that I have really cultivated that part. And once I've cultivated that part, this trust in my body, this trust in my own innate wisdom and intuition and my body's wisdom, once I built that trust and I also showed that it can rely on me to do the right thing, that seeped out into all the other parts of my life. And it showed up in all aspects of my life, which is so important. It's important to keep promises to yourself, right? I've said that before in this podcast. So I'm going to invite you to pause more often. I'm going to invite you to take some time, dedicated time in meditation, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. Ask your body what its voice is like. Ask your innate wisdom what it would like you to do. It's going to be very quiet at first, very quiet. You might not even be able to hear it, but keep trying because it will show itself. It hasn't probably been heard in your whole life, maybe when you were a child. And so its voice is probably going to be very small and very withered, but you can support and bolster it by just giving it time and space to be heard. And so your attention is your most precious resource. Your attention is your most precious resource. My mouth does not want to say that word today. And so put your attention on your body's voice. Take those 3 to 5 minutes and put your attention on it. Put your attention on your internal signals, your inner signals. Turn your gaze inward on your body with the focus of your body. And then over time, and these may be other podcasts, they might not be, but do the same with your heart. Do the same with your mind, your brain. Do the same with your spirit. Like, learn those parts of you. Learn their signals, learn their voice, and learn how they all collaborate with each other. Like, that's important work. So that is the offering of today's podcast. And if you have any questions or thoughts, I would love to hear them. The only thing I don't like about the podcasting is that I don't get to see your faces and your eyes on the other end, and that we don't get to have dialogue. So I do miss that part. But I think these are important because they just give you little briefs into my teachings and my thoughts and how I've gotten to where I've gotten to, which I feel very proud of and excited about. So I think that's it for today. We'll just take a pause ourselves here. We'll just take a pause ourselves, and I'll just invite you into a small, open-eyed moment and meditation. If you're driving, keep your eyes open. But a small practice here where you turn your gaze inward, your feeling body inward, your attention inward just for a brief moment, and ask yourself, what does the voice of my body sound like? Body, I am giving you time here. I am sorry I might not have given you time in the past, but I really want to get to know your voice. And I really want to learn more about how we can be in relationship with each other. And just listen for a moment. And then you might not have gotten anything, or you might have gotten something small, or you might have found a little feeling. But keep doing that over and over again, and you'll be able to hear the voice of your body. And I'm in relationship with my body through all aspects of my day. So my movement practice, it's not something that I do to my body. It's something I do with my body. When I'm working, it's the same thing. It's not something I am forcing my body to do, because I'm a massage therapist, so it can require a lot of physical energy. It requires a lot of my body to do massage. So even then, I am with my body. I'm checking in. I'm in relationship with it. I have a relationship with it that I don't have to always have those pauses. It can just speak and I can hear it. And so there's not much of a veil over the voice of it. And that just takes some time to get there. But sometimes there is a veil. Like sometimes my brain has overtaken everything and there is a veil. And that's where I find these pauses. But when I'm in work, my body can speak to me, adjust this, or you're in bad body mechanics, or you are, we only have this much left, or we need to do this in between clients to make it through the day. So those are all these invitations and these asks that I'm getting when I'm in relationship with my body. And when I'm in relationship with my body during conversation with others, during dialogue, during dinner, during when I'm eating, it will tell me and signal when it's been enough or when it's wanting more. So first you just start with these pauses, get to know the voice of your body, begin to reciprocate trust. It can trust you and you can trust it, which is your innate wisdom, your body's wisdom. Turn your attention towards it. For these things take time. For the next, 3 to 6 weeks, and just begin to build that relationship with build your relationship with your body. And why is this important to dare to be? Because I like to link everything back to living a daring life. Your body houses your capacity and your energy. And it's also one of your most precious relationships, to be in relationship with yourself, like yourself being, I wish there was in relating to yourself is one of the most important things you can do if you want to live a living and daring life. First of all, it's going to lead you into how much you can actually do, how much energy and capacity you actually have, and it's going to guide you in what you actually have available to yourself. It will keep you from making commitments that you can't keep, which if you don't keep commitments that you've made to yourself, then distress starts to form. And then if you don't trust yourself, you don't move forward because you don't trust yourself to move forward, right? So this trust in body, this trust in your body's trust in you will leak off into all the other areas of your life. And trusting yourself is really important if you want to make big leaps. And being in relationship with yourself and being and relating to your body is one way that you are in relationship with yourself. So being in relationship with yourself, to your heart and your mind and your spirit, those are all other parts of yourself, right? But to know what you want and to know how you want to live your life, you have to get clear and you have to be in a relationship with yourself. Otherwise, how would you know? And the way you live a big life, and when I'm doing quotation marks when I say big life, what I mean by big life is it's big to you. It's full to you, not big and as far as like how much you could do and hold, but full, like it feels good and full to you in the ways that you want. You have to be in relationship with yourself to do that. Otherwise, you're going to fill it and be full of things that you don't actually want. And then your life isn't daring to you anymore because it's not anything you actually want. And you don't have the energy for it. So you can't even go do those things that you want because you don't have the energy for it because it's not yours. You'll have the energy for things that are for you. Okay, so that's why this is such an important part of living and daring and evolving. And the deeper you can make your relationship with your body, the more trust that you can put in it, and the more trust it can put in you, the more daring you'll become. The more confident and secure you'll feel because you've got yourself through this. And you have a partner in it. Like, you're not alone. You got your body as your partner. And that's really important. It's really important. So that is my share today for the Dare to Be podcast. Life's been super busy recently, and it's okay. I want to tell you that it's okay if your life is also super busy, especially if you're in transition, if you're trying to get from one space to the next. Like, there's a lot of moving parts usually when you're transitioning, but that doesn't mean you don't deserve these small pockets of time or even putting your attention on the relationship with your body. And I teach this in my yoga classes, this building of relationship and relating to your body. I teach it, and it's a foundation teaching in all of my classes. So if you want to dive more into it and actually practice it in real time and how to listen and ask and be invited to move, my online yoga academy is a great option for you. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you would like to continue to support me, please share the podcast, listen in. I so appreciate it. If you find it helpful and impactful, the things that I'm sharing with you, please consider leaving a 5-star review on whatever platform you listen to. I have a few announcements for those of you who would like to stick around and listen. So I have some offerings coming up, which I'm really, really excited about. I do have one spot left still in my St. Croix yoga retreat in February of next year. It's February 23rd through March 1st. It's in the dead of winter. It's called Yoga in Paradise, and I have one spot left. And this spot is for someone who knows that they need sun and warmth in that month, like in that dead of winter time, and they have some seasonal affective disorder. Like, I chose these dates and I chose the island during that time because of that. I also have that, so it's the perfect time to get out of Michigan or out of the cold and the dark and get into some light, into some sun and warmth. So if you are feeling called to that, there's one spot left. It's a shared space for $2,500. It's worth every penny. I just signed a new yoga retreat offering for Costa Rica in June of next year. I'm going to be releasing the dates to that soon. I'm going to be taking 12 to 15 people with me to Costa Rica. It's on the southwest central side of Costa Rica. This resort is absolutely amazing. I've never seen anything like it, never been to anything like it. In all honesty, I am incredibly excited. The retreat staff and the facility have been nothing but accommodating and resourceful and intentional. I really feel good about this resort and this retreat center. Also, what's really cool about this retreat center is sometimes when you go to retreats at different resorts, you're not the only yoga retreat there. So there's different parties and yoga retreats all at the same time. At Selva Armonio, there is only one retreat at a time. So it's just us. It's just me and the students that come with me. We have the whole center and resort to ourselves. So I'm very excited for that. Another announcement, I am co-leading a yoga teacher training next year. It's going to begin in March. It's with Holly from Yoga Studio 225. So if you are looking to dive into yoga, get to know it more, begin the journey of practicing yoga on a deeper level, and begin the journey of teaching yoga, this would be a great option for you. It's about 3.5 months long. It's 200 hours. And it's our truth-inspired yoga school. So we have done it. Holly and I have both done multiple trainings, multiple 200 hours, and we know we've been teaching thousands of hours. So this yoga teacher training comes from a space that's very authentic and very knowledge-based, experience-based, and built out of honesty. Like, what are you actually going to face out there? What do you actually need to know? And how do you become a great practitioner and a great teacher of yoga? Like, that's what we're aiming to do. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you all for joining and listening to my story of my body. And I hope that it was helpful to you. And I hope to see you next time at the Dare to Be podcast. Much love. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for joining me today, my friends. If you found value in this podcast or it made you smile, please consider leaving a 5-star review and subscribe on whichever platform you are listening on. This allows other like-minded people to find me. If you would like to support me in other ways, check out my website, austeenheaney.com, or freetobeyogaandmassage.com. Thank you, and don't forget, sometimes the biggest dare that we can do in a day is to have hope. Until we meet again.